His penalty saved by Miangan, then a whole host of chances by Liverpool not converted, shots blocked, shots going wide, and then in the final 3 minutes of the first half, 2 goals for Milan out of absolutely nowhere. First of all, Rebic with a very smart finish after he was played through, and then just seconds later, Brahim Diaz bundled the ball over the line. It's Milan who lead 2-1. Well, it's a very warm welcome back to second half independent off-tube studio commentary from the game at Anfield as Liverpool trail AC Milan by 2-1 in the opening night of Group B in the Champions League. And this is a real surprise because Liverpool started so well, scoring inside the first 10 minutes in what now has been classed as an own goal by Fikayo Tomori after that strike from Trent Alexander-Arnold. Then a missed penalty from Mo Salah. A whole host of chances for Liverpool to increase their 1-0 lead. They didn't take them. And in the final 2 minutes of the first half, Milan scored twice, and I'll get my co-commentator Cameron Pope in just a second, but it's a corner kick to Milan inside the first 30 seconds of the second half. The ball gets through, and it's in the back of the net, and it's Milan that lead 3-1. No, they don't. Kiar is in an offside position. What a let-off that is for Liverpool. Milan had a corner kick inside the first few seconds of the second half, took it short, the ball was played along the ground, it eluded everybody, and it could have so easily been 3-1 there, Cameron.
Well, it's actually Kier who seems to have been well onside, but I wonder if he's saying that, I think this might be... I want to see that again, because I'm not sure. It seemed that Simon Kier was onside because he was so far behind the play, and I wondered whether it was a man blocking the goalkeeper's view, perhaps interfering with him. But having seen the one replay, I'm not so sure. I do want to see that again, but Liverpool in complete disarray, and we've only had 90 seconds in the second half.
We have, and we've only seen the one replay, and obviously the VAR officials must be happy because they haven't asked for play to be halted. We're back underway now. It's myself, Paul Szczerbakowicz, and Cameron Pope for this match. Liverpool trailing AC Milan by 2-1, and Milan on the attack straight away again with the ball down the left-hand side. Hernandez gets the ball into the 6-yard box just a little bit too short to get through there to Rebic, and Hernandez has carried on his run and crashed into the advertising boards, but he looks to be okay. One of the Liverpool fans are helping him up there as Liverpool now go on the attack down the right-hand side. Salah gets the ball into Origi, breaks into the box. His cross is charged down by Tomori. Henderson gets the loose ball. He tries to get that one into Jota. Diving header away there from a Calabria. Gets that ball back into midfield, and it is out for a Liverpool throw, is it? The referee just asking for play to be halted because Tomori looks like he caught one flush in the groin there with that strike that he charged down at the edge of the area.
Yeah, he's in some pain there, Tomori, and I think we'll spare him some blushes and let him just recover in his own time. But the comedy moment of the game there has to come down the other end of the field. We see Theo Hernandez, who's going hell for leather down the left flank, ends up stuck over the advertising hoarding in an upside-down V, but not only that, trapped under an electric cable too, and a poor Liverpool fan in the disabled section has to come to his aid and peel him away. But Milan, well, it's all been them so far in the second half. The good news for Tomori, though, does seem to be that he's okay to keep moving, not too gingerly.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, these advertising boards, of course, being digital these days, almost like running into a sort of a solid flat-screen TV, isn't it? But he looks like he's okay now. Hernandez, as is Tomori. Liverpool playing on now with Origi at the edge of the area, clips the ball into Salah. Oh, the goalkeeper's hesitated. What is Miangan doing there? Salah gets the ball into the back of the net. He's not really celebrating here because I think he's fearful of an offside. But we'll wait and see. It looks as though the goal is going to be given for the time. Not sure what Miangan was doing there, but potentially it could be 2-2 now.
Well, it seems to be that the flag is staying down. The ball was chipped over the top. Mo Salah is still refusing to celebrate, only mutely really gesturing to fans and his Liverpool comrades, because the ball came forward from Fabinho into Salah, picked it up on the edge of the box, quick 1-2.
Okay.
It's very, very close. It's level with the backside of Tomori, it seems to be. But Mike Maignan, whatever he thinks, whether he expects the flag or not, he can't hesitate, he has to come. He stops, he allows Salah, who wasn't favourite for that ball, it was at best 50-50, he leaves it to the Egyptian, and the Egyptian, takes a moment, has all the time in the world, and just side-footed half volleys it past him.
Well, I think this is going to be given. I don't think there's enough to say there's an offside there, and really the big question mark has to be over the goalkeeper. Why he looked to even be favourite at one point, I thought, to get to that before Salah, but the hesitation means that Salah gets there first. Really didn't want to celebrate to begin with, but the goal is given. 49 minutes gone. It's Liverpool 2, Milan 2. And the visitors now will be ruining that opportunity in the first minute of the second half. But they're on the attack straight away here, Milan. Ball pumped long, looking for Brahim Diaz. Fabinho now with the ball for Liverpool, gets it to Origi, back towards Fabinho, out towards the left-hand side now, kept in by Diogo Jota. He goes back in towards Naby Keita, and it's been such a quick start to the second half. I can now finally remind you of the two teams. Alisson is in goal for Liverpool, back four of Trent Alexander-Arnold, Joel Matip, Joe Gomez and Andy Robertson. Three in midfield, Jordan Henderson, Fabinho and Naby Keita, with Mo Salah, Divock Origi and Diogo Jota as the attacking three for Milan. Mike Miangan is in goal, a back four of David Calabria, Simon Kjaer, Fikayo Tomori and Theo Hernandez. Frank Kessie and Ismail Benacer are the two holder midfielders, with Alexis Salimakers, Brahim Diaz and Rafael Leao as the three attacking midfielders playing behind Ante Rebic. And it is Liverpool goalkeeper Alisson in possession. Rolls the ball to, I think he wanted to get it to Alexander-Arnold, but Matip stepped in and took it anyway. No harm done, though. He gets the ball into Fabinho, and then Henderson goes out towards the left-hand side, and he finds a lot of space here for Andy Robertson. His cross aimed at Origi, couldn't quite take the first ball down, but it deflects into the pass of Salah, who is onside. He steps away from Salimakers, plays it into Robertson, who then deflects the ball off Calabria, and Liverpool have a corner.
Good play there near side of Liverpool left. They found themselves outnumbered there by white shirts, but good intricate footwork. Seen the ball just take the right sort of deflection. It looked like it might just roll the wrong side of the corner flag for them, but good work there by Robertson in particular to make sure they got into the right areas, and now a chance to deliver.
Out swinging corner from Robertson. Oh, it's just a yard too high there for Origi, and then a follow-up effort from Alexander-Arnold. He certainly got power into that one, but it was always heading over.
Yes, it was the right idea from Trent Alexander-Arnold. He was almost in the goals in the first half. His effort, of course, chalked off for an own goal in the end. It's the right idea, just slightly the wrong execution. Never quite got the body shape right. He was never really over the ball, and unfortunately for him, it was always rising.
Yeah, Jurgen Klopp must be a little bit calmer now, especially as his side have won the ball back again here. And Origi now at the edge of the area takes a touch, and perhaps he was a little bit too committed to having the shot, because there were options to try and play it down the left to Jota or down the right to Salah.
Yes, good play from Simon Kjaer there. He knew he wasn't going to get to the ball in time, but he just made himself big and made his presence be known. It just threatened the Belgian mate. They had to snatch at the shot, and he just pulls it horribly wide in the end. But again, Liverpool pressing in all the right areas, asking all the right questions, and I think really they're good money to be back in this game now.
They are, I think so. I think you'd have to say that Liverpool are looking that they'll certainly be favourites now to try and go on and win the game from here. Although we didn't expect 2 goals from Milan, and we didn't expect them to almost score a third goal at the start of the second half. So certainly there's still some life left in this match yet. But Liverpool on the attack now down the right. Heavy touch there from Salah. May still be able to get a touch on it as Hernandez holds it up. Now there's an appeal there from Liverpool fans and players that potentially there might have been a back pass. I think the referee in the end decided it was all sort of during the run, so he probably just allowed it. It's actually quite hard to get an indirect free kick these days for a back pass. I'm old enough to remember when the back pass rule was brought in, and then you used to see it a lot with poor old goalkeepers who never had to kick it so much, having to suddenly become outfield players. But these days, of course, it's a very different story.
Indeed. Well, that rule is actually older than me, but I can see definitely the sense in bringing it in. But you do have to do something.
I was very young, by the way. I want to point out I wasn't like in my teens. I was a very little kid, but I do remember the days when teams could just kill time by passing the ball back and having a goalkeeper pick it up. And Liverpool now on the attack down the right. Strong challenge there from Hernandez, and I think he might have actually deflected out for a corner there.
Yes, I think he's just about got in the right space at the right time there, Mo Salah. He had to pelt hell for leather just to keep that ball in. And Hernandez, you could see the disappointment almost in his body language as he realised he still had a job to do. Got himself in the way, didn't quite get the give on the ball and the purchase that he wanted, and so it just goes the wrong side of the corner flag. And again, we've seen what Liverpool can offer when they get these deliveries right. They're well into the double figures now in terms of corners, and another chance now to make a difference.
Yeah, ball whipped in with a lot of pace from Robertson, but that one's volleyed away by Hernandez. Picked up in midfield here by Henderson, goes back to Keita, and now Joe Gomez on the halfway line, looks up and sees Arnold, who is over on the left-hand side this time. He then plays the ball over to the right-hand side for Salah. Heavy touch, and that's not the first time we've said that this evening, but he's able to control it there. The Egyptian goes back towards Keita, and there's just a composure about Liverpool now, which we didn't see towards the end of the first half.
Yes, again, they've started to find their feet where they started so well and they were so dominant, and they held Milan at arm's length, and threw at them wave after wave of attack, and then were just suddenly caught short and short again. They weren't expecting to have to switch on into defensive mode. It's taken them 8 minutes in this second half, but they're being more cohesive. They're working as a team once more. Again, they've got Milan exactly where they want them when they go forward. Milan haven't really, since that disallowed goal very early on in the half, have anything to show for their meagre possession. And again, exactly, Liverpool seem to be in the ascendancy. You just get the sense that pendulum momentum is swinging back towards the home side once again.
It is, yeah. We've had 9 minutes in this second half, 2-2 in this game after Liverpool were trailing 2-1 at half time. And Milan actually had the ball in the back of the net for 3-1, but it was offside against Simon Kjaer. But here comes Mo Salah now down the right, gets that ball into Origi. Good challenge there from Tomori, and then a risky sliding challenge there from Hernandez, but he gets away with it, and the ball is now cleared back towards the halfway line. A bit of a miscontrol there from Alexander-Arnold, and Rebic can take advantage of this. He's got 3 Liverpool players around him, carries on his run, plays a good ball into the middle of the penalty area, but he is the most forward player, so I think he just needed to hold on to that ball a little bit longer rather than just assuming somebody was going to be there.
Yes, really. I think he had to just hold up and use his head there again. I think he saw the lines, he saw the goal. I think the eagerness there to just stretch out once again in front, and something that served them well in the first half, taking their chances when they've come to them. But I think he didn't quite realise that he was stranded. He had a lot to do. Didn't quite have the sense to hold it up and wait for a teammate. But Milan, that's the problem they can pose Liverpool. Liverpool cannot get comfy whatever the scoreline is tonight. We see Milan lurking. We know that they can turn it on at a moment's notice, and so that will certainly keep the home side wary.
Well, it will, and that's something that until Liverpool have a 2 or 3 goal lead, they can't really relax in this match, can they? Because Milan have already surprised everybody before, and the attacking threat for AC Milan is going to get ever stronger now, as former Arsenal and Chelsea man Olivier Giroud is getting ready to come on for Milan. Looking at the 2 benches as well, there's a couple of other options there in terms of attacking potential here for Pioli's side, and Liverpool of course have actually got a bigger bench. Milan have a couple of players short on Liverpool's bench this evening, but in the meantime Liverpool pushing forward now down the right hand side. Salah sees Trent Alexander-Arnold ahead of him. He's got Kessie there for company, but he's still able to put a cross in. It's just a little bit overhit though, but it still stays in play down the left hand side for Robertson. He goes back to Keita there being well marshalled there by the returning Benaker. He goes back towards Henderson. Henderson with some space, finding Robertson down the left-hand side. You can see Pioli getting frustrated with his players there, because Liverpool really are enjoying a lot of possession now as Keita breaks through. Probably took the wrong option there by trying to shoot with the outside of the boot, and the ball is straight into the arms of Miangan.
Yes, again, Liverpool finding space down the left-hand side. You get the sense that that's where the attack, if any place, is going to come. We've seen the good link-up play so far in both halves, really, through Robertson, just getting a catalyst to get onto the end of everything. But the final product is what let them down there once again. And Maignan, when he's been called upon until the second half, he was okay. He was very strong and alert to what was thrown at him. We saw him flat for the goal that let Liverpool back onto level terms. And so I think that's just important for him as much as it is for his side, just to get the ball between some safe gloves and just hit that reset and try to flush the memory.
Absolutely, as Milan trying to press, but really Liverpool still very comfortable in possession here, although they are having to go back towards Alisson now, the Liverpool keeper, back over towards Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Fabinho now arriving on this right-hand side as well. He's got an option to play it to Salah. Kessie is in the way. Milan now win the ball back. Kessie trying to move forward. Fabinho with a strong challenge. Referee points to the ball, no foul, and Diogo Jota now over towards Robertson on the left-hand side. Robertson's ball towards the penalty area, blocked by Kjaer. And it's Calabria going after the loose ball. He goes back towards Benacer. Benacer onto a bit of pressure there from Keita. Finds Brahim Diaz on the right-hand side. Diaz getting away from Joe Gomez and getting away from Diogo Jota as well. The ball towards Rebic is well dealt with by Matip, but there's still a chance here down the right-hand side as Salihamidzic pushing forward, although Liverpool have it back now with Keita. He goes back to Henderson, who then sends a ball over towards the right-hand side. Salah trying to control it on the run and get it away from Hernandez, but Hernandez, solid left back there, puts the ball out for a throw.
Yes, did well there. The Frenchman just sensed it coming, knew that Salah was going to try and turn inside into his left foot and just waited for it. And it's allowed the white shirts of Milan to get back, because they were sort of caught out in terms of numbers. But I've been impressed with Milan for everything other than the goal. They've had a lot to deal with. Liverpool enjoying something of a purple patch in the opening 13 minutes of this half, and they've sat well. That bank of 4 on the edge of the box, it's been difficult for them to break down, and Liverpool are having to resort to chipped crosses to the back post that are going astray, to pot shots. And so other than for that one moment of madness from Maignan, they seem to be holding out okay.
Well, they do, and for the moment Milan are trying to press up as high high up the field as they can to make it difficult for Liverpool, but there's just so much possession, so many red shirts flooding towards the edge of that penalty area. Henderson now trying his luck down the left. He's got Robertson on the overlap, goes back into the middle now for Fabinho. He then plays the ball to the edge of the box. Jota takes it down for Alexander-Arnold, who runs straight into Theo Hernandez, and now potentially a counter-attack with Alexander-Arnold leaving that channel. Mo Salah tracking back to try and help out in defence. Rebic keeps the ball alive, and Mo Salah doing his job there, getting in the way of the pass that was intended for Rafael Leao.
Well, that's one of the many reasons why he's so valuable to Liverpool. OK, he cost them from the penalty spot with a poor strike at 1-0, but we can see them there 50 yards away from his attacking comrades, doing the dirty work in between defence and midfield, winning the ball back, acting as a catalyst, working it forward again, and then his work rate just never shirks away, and already he's getting forward into space.
He is, and he's got some space here now down the right-hand side. Hernandez closing him down. Liverpool just slowing things down, but still keeping the ball, still keeping it moving. And here is Fabinho now. He thought about crossing it into Jota, but he was being marked by Kiar, so he goes back towards Henderson. 60 minutes gone, independent off-tube studio commentary. Liverpool 2, AC Milan 2, as Henderson tries to go on the run. Then Jota picks up the loose ball. Oh, he almost managed to turn away from Tomori. The loose ball, though, goes straight through to Andy Robertson, who strikes it himself. It's going towards goal, but it's a good save in the end from Yangan.
Well, it was whistling around in the air, that one. It was well hit. You had to ask the question, and it's just, you never quite know when they hit from that sort of range, and there's always the chance of a deflection. Kier gets his body across in the way. It's probably better for Milan that he doesn't make any contact with that, because in the end, it did swing back into the hands of the French goalkeeper, and he was just about equal to it.
He was, as you say, was moving a little bit in the air. He had to keep his eye and his hands on that to make sure it didn't surprise him. Milan now trying to play out from the back. It's with Kessie, goes to Tomori. Tomori looks up. He thought about a long ball. He does play a long ball this time. Has to watch the offside, but Calabria is onside. His pass squared to Brahim Diaz is picked off here by Diogo Jota, who was a long way back in his own half as well. He's getting away from Brahim Diaz, who's just guaranteed himself a yellow card.
Poor from Diaz there. I mean, I guess you could say that Milan were caught short, didn't have enough white shirts back, as Liverpool are dangerous down that left flank, but it's just a loose challenge, really. He just clips the back of the heel, and it's a poor one, I think, and I don't think he'd have any expectation other than to see the referee's yellow card.
He didn't even bother to try and disguise it in any way, did he? He was just making sure that he stopped the run. But a bit frustrated that he didn't get the pass from his teammates a moment earlier. But we're going to see a substitution here for Milan. I mentioned that Olivier Giroud was getting ready to come on. Alessandro Florenzi is on here for Alexis Salimakers. So, Alessandro Florenzi, who can play as a right back, he's going to be asked to play as a right midfielder here. He's off. He's on the field, as is Olivier Giroud, who comes on for Rafael Leao. Now, does that mean that Ante Rebic potentially is going to go into a wide position?
Yes, I can sort of see the shape changing here, to see the Croat work out onto the left-hand side, perhaps, and that accommodates, of course, Florenzi down the right, as you said, Paul. And, of course, I imagine we'll be seeing Olivier Giroud where he's most effective, and that will be spearheading the attack. So I don't think it'll be a change of shape, but certainly a change of deployment for certain.
Well, there's going to be a change here for Liverpool as well, and it's going to be an enforced change. Divock Origi is down on the ground. He has been checked over, and the message has gone back to the bench that he's not going to be able to play on. It's a real shame for him. I would imagine that Jurgen Klopp was probably planning on giving him the full match this evening to play here. Origi's seen a bit of the ball as well, but it looks like Sadio Mane is getting ready to come on, so I suppose it's no hardship for Liverpool with the substitution they're making.
No, and that's credit to the depth that Liverpool have in their ranks there. And it's a shame for Origi, because I think that, he's got himself into the right areas tonight. He's asked the right questions. He's not perhaps been on target in front of goal himself, but no, I don't think it's a bad showing. And okay, in that front line, I don't think he's ever really going to have a chance of being the main man without a massive shift in fortunes. But this is the sort of game in a packed and congested schedule where you'd want to see him flourish, and so it's a real shame to see him coming off. He's lasted just over an hour, and he is moving quite gingerly, but exactly the likes of Sadio Mane on the bench, and it hardly harms Liverpool's chances in this game.
Absolutely not, and Mane will be very keen to make a mark on this match, give Liverpool a chance to try and retake the lead. Liverpool's next game in the Premier League is this weekend at home to Crystal Palace, whereas Milan have the small matter of a trip to Juventus in their next league game as well. So there's still plenty of action for both these teams this week. as we now bed down after the last international break. But Liverpool in possession here now with Joe Gomez. Sends a long ball over towards the right-hand side. It's too high. It's out of play before Mo Salah can get anywhere near that one. A throw to Milan down the left. Just have a quick glance at the scores elsewhere. Still 0-0 between Atletico Madrid and Porto. I suppose that's good news from Liverpool's point of view, that anytime they're trying to get a win in their game, they'll prefer the teams in the other game to be drawing.
Yes, it does. It just opens it up nicely for either side who can capitalise tonight, because exactly, you don't, of course, the way that the Champions League fixtures mirror themselves, you don't want to have to go to AC and have to get something on the final group game of the phase, shall we say, because it's Porto away next, followed by Atletico Madrid away, and then a run of 2 home games against those sides, and you don't want to have to go to Italy and be clamouring for something to get you through with a shout of the last 2. And so I imagine that whatever happens tonight, of course, I don't think the race will be run in either way, especially if that other game ends in a draw too, but it's all about hitting the ground running.
Yeah, when Liverpool now trying to get on the attack with Henderson arriving down the right-hand side. His cross is blocked by Hernandez out through a throw. As mentioned, goalless between Atletico Madrid and FC Porto. 1-1 between Bruges and PSG. Inter and Real are still goalless. Man City 4-2 up now against RB Leipzig, and Sporting trading Ajax 4-1 at home. Those are the 8 o'clock kickoffs earlier this evening. Besiktas lost 2-1 at home to Dortmund, and Tiraspol beat Shakhtar by 2-0. That's all the Champions League scores this evening, as Naby Keita now in possession for Liverpool, trying to keep this tempo up here for the home side. Just exchanges a quick pass there with Fabinho, being marked by Giroud, having to go back towards the halfway line now for Joe Gomez. Matip now plays the ball forward, but he straight into Kessie, although the ball still played out towards the right-hand side. Salah back heels it now towards Alexander-Arnold, but Kessie is there and is able to get the clearance in. Good header, though, from Matip. Liverpool straight back on the attack now, down the right-hand side. Salah leaves it for Alexander-Arnold, and now Henderson lifts the ball in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, taken down by Mane. Mane with an absolute... he's ballooned that a long way wide, shall we say. I was trying to find the right superlative to suggest just how bad that was, but he missed by a long way.
Yes, he did. We saw the shift that he put in against Leeds United on Sunday, and he finally came up with a 3rd goal in that game. He was pressing throughout the whole match, but never quite seemed to fall to him. He's just maybe needing 2 or 3 chances where he only needed 1 in previous seasons. Did everything right there but the finish, and it balloons horribly off his right foot.
Well, here comes Mane now trying to make up for that, playing a 1-2 with Jota. Good work there from Calabria, just stopping him at the edge of the area. Now Kiar with the clearance, and he was looking for Rebic, but that's well blocked by Alexander-Arnold. As we were expecting, Rebic is over on that left-hand side now to allow Giroud to play through the middle. Here is Salah now getting towards the edge of the box, runs into 2 Milan players. Referee Marciniak not interested. That's not going to be a free kick. Giroud then tries to hold it up, claims a handball after he collides with Fabinho. I think there could have been an argument for that. Referee's not interested, though.
Referee was right on top of it as well, though. Interesting one. Heads of both sides looked straight to him. Nothing given. Nothing given,
and here's Salah now down the right. Quick 1-2 with Alexander-Arnold. Salah just holds it up. Henderson finds himself on this wide right position again. He fires a cross in, and it's a good header away as well down this right-hand side from Florenzi. I think a lot of defenders there would have just headed it out for a corner just to get rid of it, but he was able just to position that head to get it away from the goal line. Liverpool with the throw. Gomez now playing it back towards Matip. Matip heading towards the edge of the penalty area, over towards Henderson. Back into Alexander-Arnold. Henderson carried on his run down the right. Salah trying to get on the end of it as well, where Milan players are appealing a handball. Referee and linesman not interested, but the ball does deflect out for a corner.
Again, Liverpool have been so dangerous from set plays. They've had, in fact, really, they've been blunt on some of them, but they've had so many that they're continually threatening to cause Milan problems. And in the last half, again, it was the same question. Down the right-hand side, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and seemed to get into the right areas. And so, again, now they have to try and make this one count. We're coming into the last quarter of the game.
Yeah, it's an outswinger from Trent Alexander-Arnold. Good header away from Hernandez. Ball picked up in midfield now by Andy Robertson. He goes back towards Joe Gomez. Milan quickly stepping forward here to make that offside as high up the field as possible. Matip still up there after the corner. He carries on his run, gets into the box, and then Jota with the strike. There's a slight challenge there from Theo Hernandez, and that deflects. It might have actually been Kiar who got the final touch. Both of them were diving in to try and stop that one, and the ball deflects out for a corner kick. Just see this set piece, and then I'll hand over for the remainder of the match as Alexander-Arnold stands over this corner kick. It's going to be an outswinger from Alexander-Arnold, and it's a little bit lower this time, too low in fact. The ball drops at the edge of the area. What a strike that is from Jordan Henderson. It was played towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It was too low. It was cleared to the edge of the box, and Henderson hits it first time. Dare I say it, Gerrard-esque, right into the bottom corner.
You are absolutely spot on with that comparison there, Paul. It is a rocket from the boot of Henderson. It fell and sat up to him so sweetly, and we saw shades of Gerrard against West Ham in the FA Cup so many years ago. It's slightly nearer in this time, but it fell to him 20 yards out, and he only had one sight, and that was of goal. A bouncing ball. It's a really tricky finish too. It bounces once on the edge of the area, once just in front of his right foot as it swings back, and he buries it past Mike Maignan, who is at full stretch, can't get anywhere near it. It couldn't have been more in the corner, and just like that, with 21 minutes to go, the complexion of the game has completely changed.
It certainly has. Le Klopp's delighted, Jurgen Klopp's delighted. He picked up Thiago Alcantara, lifted him up in the air there as well. But Liverpool now with a 3-2 lead, and Milan with it all to do. 69 minutes gone, then it will be Cameron to take us through to full time.
Here we go, a long chipped ball over the top as Milan look to mount the perfect response, and it's just too far forward. It's going to be chipped out and away from danger by the goalkeeper Becker, and Rebic was bearing down from his newly given position on that left flank. So, 20 minutes of normal time left to play in this game week 1 Group B encounter in the Champions League. Off-tube independent studio commentary with Cameron Pope and Paul Szczerbakowicz, and now AC Milan, who've had a topsy-turvy introduction to European football this season, have a throw in an important position, but we're going to see a double change for Liverpool because Diogo Jota is coming off. I can see Thiago Alcantara ready to come on, but it's going to be Curtis Jones who swaps in for Jota.
I just wondered, I can't imagine Jones will be playing in that front role, so he's going to drop in potentially with Salah going through the middle now, maybe?
Perhaps. Curtis Jones, of course, usually deployed in a central midfield role, and so we'll be keeping our eyes peeled to see how that one has panned out. And it's Naby Keita who is also sacrificed, so he'll play no further part. And on for the last 20 minutes is Thiago Alcantara. So, what danger can they stir up as we enter the twilight of this game? In fact, there's another substitution now. We might as well get them all in at the same time. This one for the away side. There's 19 minutes to go, and it's going to be Sandro Tonali who's coming off, and Ismail Bennacer. Not a bad change, actually, Paul, given that he's on the yellow card, and that does make sense. We'll get your thoughts on that in just a second, though, because the throw-in's been taken quickly. Far side the AC Milan left. Too quickly, because it's been given away, and now Henderson can run it away from danger for Liverpool. Works it up and finds Curtis Jones. His first touch in a Liverpool shirt this evening. Over his shoulder into Robertson. Over halfway. Beats one, beats two. Brings it into Jones' corner of the area. Working it with pace onto his right foot. Cuts it back inside. Gives it to Thiago. Henderson's in range once again. We've seen him hit one tonight, but this time he goes with a short pass into Mo Salah. Works it into the penalty area. Mane, well, he looked for Salah. Didn't find him with the return ball, but it's been kept in far side of Liverpool right by Jordan Henderson. Into Mane. Gets lucky deflection to the byline. Crosses it back post. It's just an inch ahead of Jones. It's going to be kept in near side of Liverpool left. It's stabbed back into play by Thiago. Working it forward and backward, Liverpool just trying to find any nook, any cranny in that Milan defence that they can exploit and give themselves a 2-goal margin. Well, that's what they should have done. Earlier on in this game, they were 1-0 up and then were denied by a save from Mike Maignan from a penalty poorly struck by Mo Salah. They passed up plenty of chances and were pegged back with 2 rapid-fire goals just before the break. It could have been 3-1, but for a linesman's flag at the early stages of the second half, and now 2 more goals, one from Mo Salah and one from Jordan Henderson, have turned this game on its head. And forward again come Liverpool. Far side of their right, Trent Alexander-Arnold slips the ball through, looking for Mane, and Kjaer is there to thread it out for a corner. 3-2 Liverpool lead.
Yeah, 3-2 Liverpool lead. The substitutions, Jones and Thiago coming on just to shore things up in midfield, just to give Liverpool a little bit more energy, keep that pace up. Tonali, as you said, coming on for Bennacer, perhaps just giving them a little bit more of a playmaker's role in that central midfield as well. But camera focusing, no surprise on Henderson now as Liverpool have this corner.
Far side, Liverpool right, it's a poor delivering, it's whipped in, the white shirts of Milan will clear it away, it's going to be hit long from deep, but it's a poor effort by Thiago and it's blocked away. Liverpool have a glut of red shirts at their disposal in the centre circle. Milan half of the field, they're kicking away from the Kop end in the second half, and it's worked out far side, the Liverpool right towards Jones. Lively for him since his second half introduction. A quick 1-2 with Trent Alexander-Arnold. Then Trent will have it back and slip it forward to Jordan Henderson. Henderson can't control it and finds Salah. And so battling into the corner is Tonali, who's playing in that left-back role so far. Tries to work himself away. Gives it back to Henderson. Salah has beaten the offside trap. Far side the Liverpool right. Plays it back up the touchline into Jones, and Liverpool just trying again to work their way through. It's Fabinho working it far side the right into Curtis Jones. Rides a challenge from one. He's beaten Kjaer. He's going to shoot a goal. Oh, and it wasn't far away. Well, Mike Maignan, you feel, may have just had this one covered. He's expecting the rocket to be unleashed at any moment. He watches it whistle past his post, and as it stands, with around 16 minutes left to play, it is Liverpool 3, AC Milan 2. What a game we have in our hands.
It's fantastic, and Jones there showing his attacking prowess as well. It wasn't too far away from goal. Left-footed effort, which the goalkeeper seemed pretty confident was going wide, but it wasn't too far away. What I'm impressed with is that Liverpool, with this lead, are still trying to increase their lead. They're still trying to keep the tempo up. They obviously learned from their mistake in the first half of not getting the job done right at the end.
Yes, they were really stung in the opening period. Have they learnt their lesson, and will it be enough just to learn, or do they have to execute as well? Far side there, right they are, on halfway. Curtis Jones with a long ball. The referee has seen an infringement, and so will turn play over. I assume the ball had gone out for an AC Milan throw, and yes, it had. And so Rebic thinks about taking it and decides that his talents are better used further up the field, and so he will cede possession of this one. We're at 15 and a half minutes from the 90. Liverpool 3, AC Milan 2. Liverpool were ahead, then behind, then ahead again. And they're edging towards a conclusion now. Kjaer in the centre circle, brings it near side the AC Milan right, and it's worked forward a long crossfield ball, and the suspicions of a push perhaps against an AC Milan attacker as it's punched away from danger by Alisson Becker, but the danger's still not over. Kessie 40 yards out, far side the AC Milan left, and Milan have had nothing in terms of attacking options so far in this 25 minutes, or should I say 30 minutes we've had in this second half, but they're just starting to come into their own now. Far side there left, a deep cross in again. It whistles past Rebic, it's stabbed away from danger by Matip, and this one will flush out for an attacking throw. Liverpool 3, AC Milan 2. Off-tube independent studio commentary. Stuck on the far side left flank with Theo Hernandez. Tries to whip a cross in. It'll go out of play off the body of Mane. So it will be another long throw deep into the box for Kessie. It's sandwiched between two players. It goes down, and a free kick given. Well, the referee from Poland coming in with the decision, and you just didn't know which way it might have come. The ball was sandwiched between Kessie and I believe Thiago.
Yeah, I mean, the referee Marciniak, he was basically whistling, and he was still sort of facing side on, so you couldn't tell if he was going to point one way or the other, but then he rotates and points back towards the middle of the park to say it is going to be a free kick rather than a penalty. Frustration there for Milan because they've had so little of the ball anywhere near Liverpool's penalty area in the second half.
They've had very, very little. And a forward coming Liverpool now, far side there right. Mo Salah 20 yards inside the AC Milan half, plays it down the line towards Trent Alexander-Arnold, who's given it an almighty shove by Kessie, who feigns innocence as he turns around and playfully taps at his shoulder. A Liverpool fan in the front row will do exactly the same, and I think what we can assume was colourful language sends him on his way. The referee, perhaps more diplomatically, has explained much the same. You can't leave with the body like that, and Liverpool have a free kick, which will take rather quickly into the feet of Fabinho, who finds a Mo Salah far side, the Liverpool right. It's back up the line to Jones. Liverpool will hold possession though into Gomez in the centre circle. Now Robertson, who threads it down the line. It's Jones on the left touchline, cuts it back to Robinson on halfway. Now forward again to Fabinho, who sees a run. It's just not going to quite make it through, but the second ball will come towards Robertson, who cuts it back, but he didn't look, and you should have seen the run of Fabinho. It was 5 yards further back than what he had thought, and the defender can clip it away. And now a chance for Florenzi to chip it over the top, and can they come away with something here, AC Milan? They trail by 3-2. 13 minutes to go. Coming down near side the right is Brahim Diaz, who's just given a little bit of a shoulder barge from Trent Alexander-Arnold, and that's enough to send him into touch, but it'll be enough also to win him a throw. In a dangerous position as Manchester City scored a fifth goal in their thrilling 8-goal encounter with RB Leipzig. 5-3 in that one with 14 minutes to play. It's Sporting 1, Ajax 5, but we've certainly had no shortage of goals in this off-tube independent studio commentary from Anfield. And Kjaer will receive the short throw and heads back towards his halfway line. Such as the depth of the Liverpool side, who are sat on the edge of the penalty area. It's a deep crossing towards the back post. Oh, headed goalwards, and it's just going to be wide from the head of Olivier Giroud, who rose above the defence and was given far too much room. And Joe Gomez, questions have to be asked of him and how he allowed the tall Frenchman to get past him there. It was a long, deep, whipped ball from Theo Hernandez towards his compatriot, and well, questions really. Maybe perhaps Giroud should have done better given the space he was afforded.
Yeah, perhaps he should have just time that jump a little bit better. But Liverpool, are they in danger of falling into their bad habits from the end of the first half? The last few minutes, it's Liverpool now who are struggling to get out of their own half.
They certainly are. And a moment of respite for Alisson Becker as he hooks a goal kick long downfield. It's over the head of a half-hearted attempt of a header from Mane, but the ball is dropped and it's going to be a short ball here coming through, and it might be a chance now for Liverpool to press on with it. Thiago, who's bundled down by Tonali. The referee's tapping his shoulder.
That's not a shoulder to shoulder. That's not a shoulder. I mean, I'm with you. I do prefer referees that allow the game to go on. I mean, in the meantime, David Calabria is down in a bit of trouble. But what the substitute Tonali did there, that can't be seen as a fair fight for the ball, in my opinion. I thought that was a bit too much of a shove. But we could see Calabria. I think he just gets bundled.
It's the lower back that he's taken, I think, a hit from Thiago in. And no question of intent on Thiago's part, but there's worry here for Calabria, and getting a bit of a deep freeze or such like on his back. He's still lying prostrate on the ground. The referee is just coming across the mediate, and Jordan Henderson, the Liverpool captain, is offering his version of events. So concern still here for the Italian, who's in considerable pain. We'll go through the latest scores just while we have this lull in play. And so the earlier games finished: Besiktas 1, Borussia Dortmund 2. It was Sheriff Tiraspol 2, Shakhtar 0. And then these are latest scores with around 15 minutes to play, as there are in this one. Atletico Madrid 0, FC Porto 0. It's Club Brugge 1, PSG 1. Inter Milan lead Real Madrid by a goal to... In fact, should I say I've read that wrong? It's Inter Milan 0, Real Madrid 0. Liverpool lead AC Milan by 3 goals to 2. Manchester City 5, RB Leipzig 3. And at Sporting 1, Ajax 5. Now, Davide Calabria is back on his feet, has received treatment, so he will have to go to the side of the field before he's allowed to re-enter. But Mike Maignan will restart with a goal kick. He's kicking into a field of just 9 outfield players for the moment. It's looped in long. Calabria, I think, we've seen him come back on now, so we're back to a whole cohort of 11 against 11. But from coming forward now is looking for a bit of room is Curtis Jones, who's found himself in the channel near centre left. And he doesn't look right, Calabria. It's just it caught my attention. He's just coming back to try and defend, and he's still holding the small of his back. Yeah,
he's not moving around comfortably there, and if he's going to have to get into a foot race with someone like Mane or Jones, and that's not going to do him any good at all. So he's just got to have a think about this as Stefano Pioli. He's already brought on Florenzi, who can play as a right back. It may be a case of having to bring on an attacking midfielder to replace Calabria, and then ask Florenzi to drop a little bit if it turns out that the captain can't play on.
Forward it comes to halfway, and a battle is on between Rebic and Matip. And Rebic is winning this one. He's worked his way to halfway into Kessie, who sees nothing on and rather undoes his teammates' hard work by playing the ball all the way back to the defence of Tomori. And Tomori rolls it into the feet of Maignan. We've got 9 minutes left of normal time. Liverpool, who've just seen a graphic flash up to suggest they've completed almost double the passes of AC Milan tonight with 437. They only have the 1 goal lead to show for it. Tomori at the back for AC Milan. Takes it out to the edge of the defensive third and then backing it towards Kjaer, who sees the short ball arriving, and Florenzi will pick it up, playing on that right side of the fence. Has options down the line, but chooses not to go with Brahim Diaz, and perhaps should have done because he plays a long, deep crossfield ball. The only recipient on the end of that will be Alisson Becker, who chests it down and just rolls the ball down to his feet and will allow himself a moment to think. We're going to see David Maldini coming on for Milan. Now, he's an attacking midfielder, so whether this will be a change for Calabria and a change of shape, perhaps, because Milan now, with 8 minutes of normal time to go, do, you feel, have to go with it. But now they have defending to do. Jordan Henderson, far side of Liverpool right, draws the tackle from Tomori, and it goes out for a Liverpool throw, halfway inside Milan territory. It's going to be worked inside. 8 minutes to go. You just feel that Liverpool, well, we're waiting for this throw-in, and it's taken an awfully long time, and now Milan have decided they will take the throw-in, and so Daniel Maldini is the man to come on. Rebic, well, we're seeing a limp for Rebic now, and this isn't one that we noticed, Paul.
No, he just suddenly seems to be in a bit of trouble here, Ante Rebic, so Daniel Maldini is going to come on. Certainly remember his grandfather being the Italian manager, and of course his father Paolo, ever present in that Milan team for many, many, many years. There he is in the stands this evening. And he'll be a little bit frustrated with how this second half has gone, but now still a chance here because Liverpool have just tailed off a little bit. There is going to be a double change here as well with Oxlade-Chamberlain and Milner ready to come on.
There certainly is, and so Maldini, a long-timer starlet of the Milan Academy, he comes on, and we're going to see for Liverpool now Mo Salah departing the field. So Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain is going to be coming on in his place. He'll see out the final 7 minutes of this game. Waiting to see who the second change will be, and it will be the captain, Jordan Henderson, who is coming off. So no further part for him. Former Sunderland man collapse. All four stands. It was a thunderous effort that gave Liverpool the lead after 69 minutes. Pile driver of a shot from 20 yards down. He earns a hug from his manager, a warm embrace on the touchline as James Milner, evergreen, comes on in red to see out the final 6 minutes. James Milner filling in the midfield as come forward again with Giroud. AC Milan is wide on halfway. Tonali is hooked in the battle with Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Good start from him, and Liverpool will pinch it back. It's on halfway with Thiago, who whips it out towards Fabinho, and that one's slightly overrun the whitewash, and so it will be an AC ball. They'll try and work their way forward, but again coming down blind alleys, and it's given away. Forward Liverpool will come, and a battle on with Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. He just loses out. It's just picked off him, and again Liverpool just running into some resistance as this AC Milan side start to find their groove, but they only have 5.5 minutes left of normal time which to salvage something from this game. Brahim Diaz playing deeper and deeper as the game goes on, picks it up in the centre circle, threads it forward, but Florenzi sees nothing on in terms of white shirt. Goes back to Tomori, and now near side the AC Milan right, it's Calabria. Calabria seems to have recovered. He plays it long back, and the point man will be spreading it upfield. It's just over the head of Giroud, though, and taken down by Alisson Becker. 5 minutes to go. On your reckoning, Paul, have AC Milan shown they've got enough in this to really make a go of it? I tell you what, it's a horrible moment here, and they're just going to about get away with it because Tomori had not sensed the oncoming run of Mike Maignan. He headed it back past his French goalkeeper, and there was a lot of pace in that ball. The goalkeeper, thankfully for AC Milan, sensed it coming, recovered himself in time.
Yeah, well, the fact that there was a lot of pace meant that it just got away from Mane as well, so it worked out all right in the end. I mean, you're asking whether or not I think Milan have got enough about them to come back into it. If you'd have asked me 3 minutes before the end of the first half, I would have said there's no way they're going to score twice. So I think they have looked a little bit better now in the last 10 minutes. Liverpool are just perhaps guilty of sitting back a little bit. All these changes they've made, perhaps has just lost a little bit of the thrust going forward. But Milan are certainly trying here in these final minutes, and here's a ball out towards Calabria on the right.
Calabria in space, near side, the AC Milan right, it's whipped in, and it asks the question of Gomez, who flicks it behind. And nervy moments now for Liverpool. We're approaching the 87th minute of the game. Off-tube independent studio commentary with Cameron Pope and Paul Szczerbakowicz. This one reaching an exciting conclusion. Liverpool lead by the odd goal in 5, and it's Tonali, near side, the AC Milan right, who will deliver corner right at the death for the Italian side. Right-footed, so it's an outswinger towards the front post. It hits the first one. Oh, it's taken an awkward deflection and into the hands of Alisson Becker. Well, Simon Kjaer making a nuisance of himself, and he just threw himself in the way of it. It seemed to be an offensive touch that took it back, and thankfully for Liverpool, the Brazilian goalkeeper was on hand and equal to it. Just gets down in the nick of time. We're going to see a rerun, and well, Kjaer got there, if anything. It should have been hit by the first man. Robertson came for it. It actually strikes Kjaer in the head. I don't know how much he knew about it, because as I say, Robertson was favourite.
Yeah, it went off a bit of a funny angle, but because of that, it also didn't have too much pace on it, so Alisson did have time to adjust and to make the save. But that's another warning for Liverpool. They need to just start holding the ball up a little bit higher on the field, because at the moment they're encouraging Milan.
3 minutes of normal time remaining, and it's given away by Trent Alexander-Arnold to Kessie on the halfway line. Brings in Diaz. Diaz twisting away. It was his second goal that put AC Milan into a shock lead just on the edge of half-time. Liverpool have since turned it round, and they're pressing forward again now, having won it back. Jones spreads it forward. Now Oxlade-Chamberlain, far side, the Liverpool right. He's running at Hernandez, turns back inside. Kessie lunges in, but Oxlade-Chamberlain gets away from him. Advantage played, takes one touch, two touch, now screams at the referee, who won't give him his free kick. He deems the advantage to have been used, and Liverpool will try a second chance ball with Robertson, who takes a long touch past Kessie and too heavy. I think he knows that the ball is going. However, the referee has come across, and it seemed that he'd let it go. He's now stopped playing. I wonder, Paul, if he's given the free kick to Liverpool here, because it seemed that the Polish referee Simon Marciniak had let this go. I don't think that would have been the right decision, because Kessie has come across and checked Andy Robertson. Liverpool have the just desserts and actually have a free kick.
A shoulder to shoulder has to be two players competing for the ball. It can't be Frank Kessie running at full pace and just knocking over Andy Robertson in the way he just did there. So that was a pretty easy decision for the referee, as we have a 9th goal at the Etihad. City now leading against RB Leipzig by 6-3. Incredible game there, but this is a good opportunity for Liverpool now with less than 2 minutes of regulation time left.
That is something else. It's 6-3 City lead against the 10 men of Leipzig, but Liverpool still not out of the woods here. Can they make it a fourth? It's whipped in, hits the first defender, but a second time ball from Milner goes forward towards Trent Alexander-Arnold just on the left side of the penalty area. As it pinched off his toe, and Calabria will clear it, and Florenzi now goes flying into the advertising hoardings. Misses the electronic boards, does hit an Anfield steward who, so with a pat on the back, sends him back on his way towards the field. Liverpool will have an attacking throw-in. It's just about level with the corner of the AC Milan penalty area. Robertson with the ball in hand. The Scot works it down the line for Liverpool's second captain on the night, Milner, who's bundled down to ground, looks across at the Polish referee. The referee waves it away, and it will just be a throw in which Calabria, who seems to have dealt with his back problem, will take down the line straight towards the head of Jones, but he can't steer it into Liverpool hands, and AC can clear as they go looking for this equaliser. We're into the final minute of the 90. AC Milan trail Liverpool by 3-2, but they have the ball with Theo Hernandez far side left, and he's cut down to ground by Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. And now it will be a free kick on the corner of the Liverpool penalty area, 25 yards from the byline, and a real chance. Well,
I thought that was going to be a free kick. I'm quite surprised it's just a throw.
And it's a throw in that's given, and that's the ambiguity of the arm signal by the referee pointing out towards the corner flag, and you can only imagine that it was going to be for such a ferocious tackle committed at pace. You would have thought a free kick. The throw in it is, but it's been used well, and Giroud, with his back to goal on the edge of the area, sees the man coming over his shoulder, can't work it into his path.
I always thought Giroud was just overplaying that a little bit. They're just a little bit too much pace on that pass. We're into 5 minutes of injury time at the end of this game, so still plenty of time here for Milan to potentially get back into it. Liverpool still have to be very careful.
Well, here they come, Liverpool, taking it over halfway without Oxlade-Chamberlain, a long ball. Oh, it might just sneak through to Mane here. Mane is inside the penalty area. Can he turn away from Kier? Oh, the defender, Fikayo Tomori, has just got back and pinched it away from him. Curtis Jones picks it up 25 yards out. Still might be a chance here for Liverpool. They'll work it wide with Fabinho. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain gets the cross in. It pings again off Hernandez, and Kessie will clear it further up the line. And they're battling to keep this one going with Maldini, but he's tripled up on by 3 red shirts, and it's won back by Liverpool. 3-2 they lead. We're into 5 minutes of added time. We've had 30 seconds of those, but Liverpool won't get the corner they want, because Trent Alexander-Arnold has run out of pitch on that right flank. He won't mind too much. He's eaten up some vital seconds, but Liverpool have a precarious 1-goal lead with 4 minutes of added time still to play.
Yeah, there's still plenty of time here for Milan to upset things. Liverpool, I think, when they retook the lead in the second half, probably would have been thinking they can kick on and perhaps extend that lead. But once again, there is a steal about Milan in this match. We've definitely seen that. And just them seeing a bit more of the ball has now shown that Liverpool are just that little bit more worried. And I can tell you that it was still goalless. The Porto, it looked like, had scored against Atletico, but I think VAR stepped in, and it looks as though Real Madrid have taken a late lead away at Inter. But here come Liverpool.
Is it late stinging the tail? Liverpool 35 yards out with Mane. Doesn't get the ball he wants, but will get a second chance of it, and he uses it to spread it near side of Liverpool left towards Robertson. It's back towards Thiago. Robertson will have it again. He'll try and hit the line. Brings in Jones near side of the Liverpool left, 20 yards from the byline. Cuts it back to Milner. A quick 1-2 with Robertson. Liverpool won't make any room, but they'll come this way and that by Curtis Jones, who tries with a back heel to bring it into Robertson, but the pass is just overhooked, and Calabria will clear it away, and Liverpool need to hold as much of the ball as they can, but they'll commit a free kick in the centre circle through Fabinho on Maldini, and now the young Italian will come forward and bring it near side the AC Milan right, and there's going to be a foul committed by James Milner, who earns himself a yellow card for his tackle on Brahim Diaz. Liverpool, perhaps the discipline just going out the window.
Yeah, that's a bit of a reckless one, that, from Milner, but at the same time he knew he was going to get booked, so he wanted to make sure that the man definitely went down, because that's why he was committing to that yellow card.
Well, that's the experience showing there from James Milner. He knew that he was second best for the ball. He knew that Brahim Diaz, much younger and much quicker, had the run in him down that line. He was halfway inside the Liverpool half at the time, just struck out and stretched the leg across the body, and easy free kick for Simon Marciniak to give. And now Tonali stands alone over the free kick. It's a yard in from the right-hand touchline, 40 yards from the Liverpool byline. 2.5 minutes of added time to play. Liverpool lead by 3-2 in a defensive line on the edge of their box. It's whipped in by Tonali towards the back post. It's going to be headed away as it tries to reach Diaz, and Liverpool will clear it upfield. There's no red shirts to welcome it, so a black one. That of Maignan picks it up. And now a chance for Calabria to send a long ball deep into Liverpool territory. It's over the top. Kessy's underneath it, but it's headed clear by Robertson. Slammed clear by Liverpool. Now might be a counter. It's 3-on-3, and forward they come with Jones. Jones has got the run of the defender. Can he get himself past Calabria? Calabria stabs in with the right foot and flicks it away. Good battling for him. He's a man walking wounded, but he's just about done enough. He squeezes it to halfway. We're into the 94th minute. 5 minutes added at the end of this one. Liverpool lead by 3-2. Milner near side of Liverpool left. Into the corner he will be. Calabria doing his best to try and not concede a free kick, and that is exactly what he's done. And again, once again, that experience showing from James Milner goes down to ground. Free kick and some vital seconds used.
Yeah, well, we could see that Stefano Pioli's not too happy with that decision, but that's just more frustration that it's so late in the game and his side are losing precious seconds. But as you said, Milner knew exactly what he was doing there. He either wants to cross it and he's given the defender a choice. Either you let me cross it, which he's never going to do, or you bump into me and I'm going to get a free kick. And that's what's happened. Short free kick now between Milner and Jones.
Well, I wonder what they're going to do from this one. And indeed, they'll go short. Jones into Milner. Milner is lying on the ball now, and I don't think he'll be allowed to do that for too long. And of course, he's been booked now for unsporting behaviour, but it's served a purpose, and it's taken us beyond the 94th minute mark. And Mike Maignan, just as we saw in the opening 5 minutes of the game, is now taking a few liberties by bowling the ball out. And this time, the referee has noticed it, sent him back towards the corner flag. It eats up vital seconds for Milan, who trail by 3-2. 40 seconds left of the 95 awarded. It's headed away by Liverpool. It's picked up in the centre circle. Tomori looks for a way forward. Liverpool right behind the ball, and it's pinched back by Fabinho. Mane in the centre circle, can't get past Kjaer, and diving into the challenge will be Milner. He's told to get up by the referee, and it's sent long by Kessy, long over the top. There are white shirts forward. Maldini chasing after it. Trent Alexander-Arnold is there first by his corner flag, hacks the ball away. It's kept in by Theo Hernandez. Brahim Diaz 35 yards out. Brahim Diaz shaped for a shot. Oh, and that was a chance, but it's over the bar. Just seconds remaining on the clock. He never quite connected with it, and it was always rising. And Alisson Becker just had to be sure, but it scooped over the crossbar, and that is it. Simon Marciniak puts the whistle to his lips. Champions League football is back in business. Liverpool have had to come from behind, but they've managed it on the night, and they open their Group B campaign with a win. The final score from the game at Anfield in this off-tube independent studio commentary: Liverpool 3, AC Milan 2.